Welcome back to the deep dive. And I have to be honest with you, right off the bat, I've been staring at the notes for this one for, I don't know, about 3 hours now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just trying to wrap my head around whether we're actually going to say some of this stuff out loud.
It is a bit of a departure for us, isn't it?
A huge departure.
Usually we're wading through, economic forecast or the latest tech breakthroughs or some piece of dense historical analysis, very concrete stuff.
Exactly. Touchable things, things you can put on a spreadsheet. We usually deal in the how-to of the physical world. But Today, we are looking at a source that basically takes all our assumptions about how-to, the grinding, the strategizing, the 5-year plans,
All of it.
and just tosses them right out the window.
It does a bit more than just toss them out.
Hmm.
It suggests that those very things might actually be the padlock keeping the window shut in the first place.
That's a great way to put it. We are tackling a topic that challenges what I think is the most dominant narrative of our generation.
Oh, easily.
Maybe the last 3 generations even. And that is the narrative of the hustle,
The grind,
the 5.0 AM club.
the ice bath brotherhood, all of it. You know the drill.
Mm-hmm.
If you aren't completely exhausted, you aren't trying hard enough.
Right. If you weren't suffering, you somehow don't deserve the reward.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the old Protestant work ethic on, I don't know, performance-enhancing drugs. We have so deeply internalized this one equation that input equals output.
Sweat equals success.
Exactly. And if you're broke, well, it's simple. It's because you didn't work enough hours. If you're stuck, it's obviously because you were lazy. That is the water we all swim in.
And it's exhausting water. I'm tired just talking about it.
It's designed to be exhausting.
But today, we're diving into a source that says, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Stop banging your head against the wall. Stop trying to kick down the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because according to this material, the door to abundance, it doesn't open with force. It's a fascinating and, frankly, completely counterintuitive premise.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at an audio recording, and it's titled, The Forbidden Secret of the 3 Words That Open the Doors to Abundance.
Quite a title.
It is, and it's deeply rooted in the metaphysical teachings of a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn.
Who was this incredible figure, right, back in the New Thought movement, early 20th century?
A true pioneer in this field. And the central thesis here is, well, it's going to make some of our more logical listeners itch a little bit.
Oh, I'm already itching.
But stick with us. The thesis is that abundance isn't a result of time. It's not a result of physical effort. It is the result of a specific law that is activated by speech.
By your words.
Yes. And law is the key word there.
Yeah.
I really want to stress that. The source isn't presenting this as like a magic trick or some kind of fairy tale.
Not a hopeful wish?
No, not at all. It's presented as mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
like gravity. You don't have to
Oh.
believe in gravity to fall down the stairs, right?
Right. It works whether you believe in it or not.
Precisely. And the source argues you don't have to believe in this law for it to work. You just have to operate the mechanism correctly.
3 words. That's the claim. 3 words that act like a skeleton key to reality itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I first saw Forbidden the Secret of the 3 Words in our research stack, I thought, okay, here we go. This is clickbait from the 1920s.
A totally fair assumption.
But as we went through it, I realized this isn't about incantations or magic spells. It's about a fundamental, almost a violent shift in identity.
It really is. It's about psychology just as much as it is about spirituality. The source argues that most of us, we move through the world with a mindset of begging.
Begging. What do you mean?
Well, we beg for a raise, we beg for a lucky break, we beg for the traffic to clear up. We are in a constant state of asking, of pleading.
Okay, I see that.
But the source suggests that the very act of begging reinforces the lack of the thing we want.
Wow.
Think about it. You don't beg for what you already have in your hand.
That's a heavy concept. So if I'm begging for money, I am essentially screaming to the universe, I don't have money.
Exactly. You are broadcasting a powerful signal of lack. So today, our mission, our whole deep dive, is to explore how to move from that mindset of begging to a mindset of governing.
Governing. I like that. It sounds much, much better than panicking, which is usually my default state when I look at my bank account.
I think we can all relate to that.
So here's the roadmap for today. We're going to explore this whole concept that money and abundance are responsive to vibration and decrees rather than just, backbreaking labor.
Right.
We're going to decode these specific 3 words, the master key mentioned in the title. And this is the part I'm actually most excited about.
It's the practical part.
Yes, the practical part. We are going to walk through the very specific, very strict 7-day protocol the source gives for shifting your reality.
And I want to emphasize that word strict. The source is incredibly clear that this isn't some casual suggestion.
No, it's not. Try this if you feel like it.
Not at all. It's a protocol. You either follow the steps precisely or you don't. You can't halfway apply a law of physics.
Fair point. Okay, so let's jump right into the deep end. Section 1, the diagnosis of the problem. The source starts with this incredibly vivid, almost claustrophobic image of a door.
It sets the scene perfectly. It asks you, the listener, to imagine that you're standing in a long corridor, and in front of you is this massive, ornate door. On it is a plaque that says abundance.
And we all know what's behind it. It's not just, piles of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck.
No, it's more than that. It's financial peace. It's provision. It's the ability to give to others without feeling that pinch of fear.
It's the ability to sleep through the night without doing that horrible mental math about bills.
Yes, it's freedom. It's all right there, just on the other side of that door.
But the door is locked. And here's the one detail that gave me chills when I first read it. The source says the door does not have a handle on the outside.
That is the critical architectural detail. It changes everything. Think about what that means for a moment. If there is no handle on the outside, what does that imply about all our normal efforts to open it?
It implies that we are insane. It implies that everything we're doing, grabbing, pulling, shaking the door, it's all completely futile.
Precisely. The source describes the human condition as this tragic comedy of people desperately trying to force this door open. They're kicking it.
I can picture that.
They're throwing their shoulders against it. They're crying in front of it. They are working themselves to death, literally, physical exhaustion, trying to pry it open with sheer effort.
This is such a powerful metaphor for burnout, isn't it?
It's the definition of burnout.
You know that feeling when you're doing everything right on paper? You're putting in the extra hours, you're networking, you've got the side hustle, you're skipping lunch, you are exerting maximum force. And the result is nothing. The door doesn't budge, not an inch.
And the source says, of course it doesn't budge. You are trying to solve a spiritual problem with a physical tool.
Okay, unpack that.
The door is spiritual. It was built by your own consciousness. You cannot use a physical shoulder to break down a spiritual door. It's like trying to edit a website by hitting your computer monitor with a hammer.
I mean, you're working hard, sure.
You're sweating. You're definitely putting in the effort. But you aren't changing the code.
That is a depressing image, but also weirdly liberating.
How so?
Because if the handle isn't on the outside, it means I can stop bruising my shoulder. I can stop the struggle. But why is it locked in the first place? Did we lock ourselves out?
In a sense, yes. The source argues that we lock ourselves out through 2 things: inner silence, or even worse, negative speech.
Oh.
This is what the source calls the rusty lock metaphor.
Let's unpack the rusty lock. This felt very personal to me when I read it.
I think it will for a lot of people. The source argues that the mechanism of the lock is exquisitely sensitive to speech, to the words we use.
So every time I say, oh, I can't afford this, what am I doing?
You are turning the key in the wrong direction. You're actively engaging the deadbolt.
And we say that all the time. I can't afford it. That's way too expensive. Must be nice for them.
Right. Or, money is so hard to come by, the economy is tanking, I just never catch a break.
We're programming ourselves.
Every single one of those statements is a turn of the key. Click. And the source says that over time, with years of repetition, the lock gets rusty. It gets seized up with the oxidation of doubt and fear.
So even if you suddenly decide you want to open it, the mechanism is just stuck.
It's completely stuck. You've been working against yourself for years.
And the source makes a really interesting point about why we do this. It's not just a bad habit. It's often a weird, twisted sense of morality, like we're afraid of sounding greedy.
Yes. The poverty virtue. It's this deep-seated cultural belief that it's somehow humble to be poor, or that it's more spiritual to struggle.
So we stay silent. We don't demand abundance because we think we aren't supposed to have it.
And the source identifies this silence as a critical error, a fatal mistake. The law of abundance, as it's described, doesn't move based on your need.
Wait, say that again?
The law doesn't move by your need. It doesn't look down from on high and say, oh, that person is struggling, they're a good person, let's open the door for them.
That's harsh, though, isn't it? The law doesn't move by your need. You'd think the universe would have some kind of compassion filter built in.
But think of it like electricity. It's impersonal. Electricity doesn't care if you're a saint or a sinner.
True.
It doesn't care if you need the lights on to perform life-saving surgery or to rob a bank. It just flows where the circuit is completed.
So abundance is a current.
It's a current. And the source is saying that if you don't complete the circuit with your word, with your decree, the lights stay off. It's not personal, it's just physics.
That actually makes it less scary. If it's not personal, then I'm not being punished for something.
You're not being punished, you're just disconnected.
I'm just using the tool incorrectly.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the futility of external force. The source really, really hammers this home. It draws a sharp distinction between effort and decree. Effort is the language of the body. Decree is the language of the spirit.
So effort is me working 3 jobs and sleeping 4 hours a night. That's my body speaking the language of effort.
Right. And let's be clear, the source isn't saying sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing. That's a common misinterpretation.
Okay, good.
But it is saying that action without the decree is just friction. It's wasted energy. It's the difference between trying to push a car uphill versus getting in the driver's seat, turning the key, and driving it.
Both involve movement, but one is efficient and the other is just agonizing.
And leads to burnout. The source suggests aligning instead of forcing. When you align your speech, your frequency, with abundance, the door opens from the inside.
It yields.
It yields. That's the perfect word. It yields to you. You don't have to force it anymore.
Okay, so let's talk about how to make it yield. Let's get into section 2. The physics of the decree. We've touched on this, but let's go deeper into the why. Why does speaking a word change anything? Why can't I just, think it really hard?
It's a great question. The source starts with a premise that, interestingly, aligns with a lot of modern quantum theory.
Which is?
That the universe is not solid matter. At its core, it is vibration. Everything is energy, just vibrating at different rates. A rock, the air, the thoughts in your head, all just frequencies.
And the source has a specific name for money in this context. It calls it condensed substance.
Yes. Think of steam, water, and ice. They're all the same thing, H2O, right? They're just vibrating at different speeds. The source is saying money, walls, cars, this is all just condensed universal energy. And crucially, this substance has no will of its own. It's inert.
Money doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have an agenda.
It is neutral. It is an obedient servant. It just waits for instructions. And the instructions, according to the source, come in the form of frequency, your dominant frequency.
So if my dominant frequency, my vibe, I guess, is I'm terrified I won't make rent this month, then money gets that signal and says, okay, message received, I'll stay away.
Precisely. Because fear is a repellent frequency. It's a low vibration. If you speak scarcity, money retreats. If you speak abundance, it approaches.
Not because it likes me or thinks I'm a good person.
No, but because of vibratory law. It's magnetic. You can't scream at a magnet to attract a piece of metal if you've got its repelling side pointed at it. You have to flip the magnet. Your words flip the magnet.
I love the analogy the source uses about the password. It compares speaking into the invisible to entering a password into a spiritual safe.
It's the perfect analogy for the modern age, isn't it?
It really is.
Imagine you're trying to log into your online banking. If you type in the wrong password, it doesn't matter how nice you are, it doesn't matter how desperately you need the money, it doesn't matter if you cry or beg.
The system just says access denied.
Every single time. It's not emotional, it's code.
And what are the wrong passwords? We need to flag these for everyone listening because I have a feeling I use them every single day.
The source is very specific here. The wrong passwords are any phrases that are conditional, fearful, or hopeful.
Hopeful. Okay, that's the one that trips me up. I hope. Why is I hope a wrong password? It feels so counterintuitive. Hope is supposed to be a good thing.
In some contexts, yes. But in the physics of decree, I hope implies doubt.
Ah.
I hope implies that the outcome is uncertain. I hope implies that you are waiting for some external power to decide for you. It lacks the frequency of authority.
It's passive.
It's completely passive.
Yeah.
It's the language of someone standing outside the locked door, just hoping someone is home and will take pity on them.
So saying, I hope I get this raise is actually pushing the raise away from me.
It's certainly not pulling it closer. It's neutral at best, but more likely it's reinforcing the feeling that you don't have it and you're not in control of getting it.
What are some of the other wrong passwords?
Maybe one day? If it works out, God willing.
I hear that one all the time.
These are passwords of submission, not command. The right password, the source claims, is a declaration in the present tense, spoken as if it were law.
Which brings up the crucial distinction the source makes between the mind and the voice. It calls one the atrium and the other the throne.
This is a critical nuance, and it's where a lot of people who've tried manifestation before have gone wrong.
How so?
Well, many people think, I think positive thoughts all day. I have a vision board. I visualize. And the source says that isn't enough. Thought is preparation. The word is activation.
Why, though? What is it about the physical act of speaking? The voice.
The source argues there's a specific vibrational quality to the spoken word, the actual sound waves moving through the air that cuts through the substance of reality in a way that a silent thought does not.
So the mind is the atrium.
The waiting room.
Yeah.
It's where you gather your ideas, where you formulate the plan. But the voice is the throne room. You have to actually walk into the throne room, sit on the throne, and issue the command out loud.
So you can think about opening the door for 1,000 years.
But until you speak the command that turns the key, nothing actually moves in the physical world.
Okay, so we need to speak. We need to stop hoping and start commanding. So what do we speak? Let's get to the good stuff. Section 3, the master key. The source builds up all this tension and then finally reveals the specific phrase that acts as the key to this door.
It does, and it breaks down the phrase into 3 distinct components, which it calls the 3 teeth of the key. I find this breakdown so helpful because it stops it from feeling like some kind of hocus pocus.
Right, it's not a magic spell.
No, it makes it feel like you're constructing a legal document. Each part has a specific function.
So let's unveil the phrase first and then we'll break down the teeth. The phrase is, I decree abundance now in perfect divine order.
7 words. That's it. I decree abundance now in perfect divine order.
Let's analyze the teeth. Tooth number 1, the very first word, decree, not I ask, not I wish, not even I want.
Decree. This is the core of the power shift. It is the move from beggar to commander.
It's a royal word, a legal word.
Think about history. When a king or a president issues a decree, they aren't asking for a focus group to see if everyone is okay with it.
No, they're stating what is now law.
They're stating what is going to happen.
Yeah.
It is hereby decreed. It signals absolute authority and total certainty. It leaves no room for doubt.
It feels completely different just saying it. If I say I want abundance, it feels like a longing. It feels empty. There's a gap between me and the thing I want.
Yes, exactly.
But if I say I decree abundance, it feels like I'm an administrator doing a job.
That's the perfect description. It removes the emotional longing and replaces it with administrative action. You are telling your subconscious, and according to the source, the universe, that the debate is over. The decision has been made.
Okay, that's powerful. Tooth number 2, the word now.
This is so crucial. Now cancels all delay. We as humans are masters of pushing our happiness and our wealth into some imaginary future.
And I'll constantly. I'll be happy when I get that promotion.
I'll feel secure when the economy gets better.
I'll relax when the kids grow up and leave the house.
Always when. And the source says the universal law only operates in the eternal present. There is no future. There is only now.
So by saying now, you are rejecting the whole idea that you have to wait until you're worthy or until the stars perfectly align.
You're pulling that future you desire directly into your present reality. You are collapsing time. You're saying, it's not coming, it is here.
Okay, I decree now. I can feel the power in that. And finally, tooth number 3, which is the last 4 words. Perfect divine order. This is described as the safety valve. And honestly, this is the part that makes me feel safe enough to even try this.
It is the most important part for people who, like me, have an anxious mind.
Yeah.
But perfect divine order means you're surrendering the how.
Oh, the how. The how is what keeps me up at night. The how is the tyrant.
Always.
How am I going to make this money? Do I need to sell my car? Do I need to start a crypto side hustle? Do I have to call that relative I hate and ask for a loan?
Right. The how is the trap. When you obsess over the how, you immediately introduce friction. You introduce doubt because your tiny human brain can't possibly see the infinite pathways that could lead to your goal.
So by adding imperfect divine order, what are you saying?
You're saying, I demand this result, but I trust that a higher intelligence can handle the logistics. I want this abundance to come to me in a way that is harmonious, right, and timely for everyone involved.
It protects you from the monkey's paw scenario, right? where you get what you want, but in a horrible way.
Exactly. You don't want abundance to show up because a relative died and left you a big life insurance policy.
No.
You don't want abundance because you got hit by a bus and won a massive lawsuit settlement. You want it in a way that is clean and good.
Oh.
It removes the guilt. It removes the resistance. It basically tells your anxious brain, you can relax now. The logistics are being handled by a higher pay grade.
So it's a complete package. You demand the result with decree, you demand the timing with now, and you completely surrender the method with in perfect divine order.
That's the key. That's the three-tooth key.
Mm.
And the source claims that when these three elements, authority, immediacy, and surrender, are combined in that specific sentence and spoken with feeling,
The lock has no choice but to turn.
the lock has no choice.
But does it actually work? I mean, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Or is this just elegant word salad for people who don't want to get a job?
A fair question.
This is where the source drops some really specific and, frankly, quite startling case studies. And these aren't just some guy got lucky stories. These are stories of people at their absolute rock bottom.
Yes, let's get into the evidence, so to speak.
Mhm.
Let's look at the woman with the wrong knock. This was a case from Florence Scovel Shinn's actual client records from the 1920s.
Right. So the context. This woman is desperate. She's losing her job. She's facing crippling debt. She is in a state of total panic.
She's doing what we all do, applying for every job under the sun, asking for loans, probably losing her mind with worry.
She was doing everything humanly possible.
And Florence told her, and this is such a powerful diagnosis, she said, "You are knocking with the wrong hands."
Knocking with the wrong hands. That's such a vivid image. It's like you can just imagine someone banging on a door in a frantic panic.
And when you knock with fear, with that desperate energy,
Yeah.
what does the person on the other side of the door metaphorically do?
They lock it tighter. They get scared.
They get scared. Desperation is a repellent. It pushes away the very thing you want.
So what did she do? What was the fix?
Florence had her stop all the frantic activity. She had her sit down, get calm. And she started using the phrase, or a variation of it, suited for her time, which was, "My supply comes from God and never delays."
So she changed her words.
But the shift wasn't just the words. It was the cessation of the panic that came with the words. She handed the problem over.
And the result?
This is what's so fascinating. The very first thing that happened was that her anxiety vanished.
So the internal change came first.
Always. That's usually the first sign. You feel an internal sense of peace. If you are doing the decree correctly, you should feel a sense of relief, as if the burden has been lifted from your shoulders.
And then what happened in the external world?
Then, within a single week, an old client she thought was gone forever, completely out of the blue, came back with a massive project. A project big enough to cover all her debts and give her a cushion.
Now, the skeptic in me and in our listeners would say, well, the client would have called anyway. It's just a coincidence.
Perhaps. But the source asks the question, why did the client call only after she changed her frequency? Why not the week before, when she was in a panic? The expert view here, the one presented by the source, is that her wall of desperate, fearful energy was acting like a shield, literally blocking the good that was trying to reach her. Once she dropped the desperation and stood in her authority, the channel cleared.
Okay. Then there's the story of the overworked man. This one. This one hit close to home for me.
I think it will for a lot of people.
3 jobs. Working 7 days a week, sleeping maybe 4 hours a night. And he was still broke.
This is the classic battering the door with his feet scenario. The ultimate example of using effort instead of decree.
He believed that the only way to get more money was to trade more of his time for it.
Right. But since he had a limited amount of time in a day, his income was always capped, and his expenses were always rising. It's a losing game you can never win.
So what happened? He started speaking the decree.
He did. He started the 7-day protocol. And within 7 days, he got an offer for a single job paying triple his previous combined income.
Triple.
Triple. He quit the other 3 jobs. The lesson here is about efficiency. The decree is presented as a more efficient tool than the body. The body is limited. Your spirit, your connection to the source of abundance, is unlimited.
There's also a really important distinction made in another story about the woman who claimed affirmations didn't work for her.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of listeners might relate to that. I've tried affirmations, I've tried vision boards, I said the words, it's all nonsense.
The source addresses this head-on. It calls this the difference between the reciter and the speaker.
The reciter versus the speaker.
This woman was reciting, she was saying the words mechanically, like she was reading a grocery list. I am rich, I am wealthy, I am abundant. Okay, is it here yet? Where is my money?
Right. It was empty. The words were dead on arrival.
They were hollow. There was no vibration, no feeling, no certainty behind it. And the correction from Florence was to have her speak the words into a mirror until she felt the truth of them in her body,
Until she believed it.
until she became it. It's about certainty. The source says you have to speak it like you are signing a legally binding contract, not like you are acting in a high school play.
That's a fantastic distinction. Signing a contract versus just reading lines from a script.
Once she did that, once she spoke with real conviction, unexpected money appeared in her life within 48 hours.
It's the difference between reading a spell from a book in a movie and actually being the wizard who casts the spell.
You have to mean it. You have to embody it.
Yeah.
And that leads to the final case study I want to touch on. The man in debt who is constantly begging God for help. This is a very common religious or spiritual trauma, I think.
Yeah. People on their knees, begging God to save them. Please, God, please help me.
And the source says this is fundamentally the wrong approach.
Why? It seems like what you're supposed to do.
Because begging reinforces the reality of the problem. If you are begging for help, you are powerfully affirming that you are helpless. You are affirming that the debt is bigger and more powerful than you are.
You're focusing on the lack.
You're marinating in it. So the man was instructed to shift his language. He went from begging for help to decreeing provision. He aligned himself with the divine power, claiming his inheritance, rather than seeing himself as separate and small and undeserving.
And what happened?
In 30 days, his debts were miraculously renegotiated, and money came in from completely unforeseen sources to clear them.
So the common thread in all of these stories is that the external reality didn't budge, not one single inch.
Not at all.
Until the internal frequency, the internal conversation was changed via the spoken word.
Exactly. The world is a mirror. It can only reflect back the face you make at it. If you frown at a mirror, you can't force the reflection to smile by scrubbing the glass harder.
You have to smile first.
You have to smile first. The decree is you choosing to smile first, regardless of what the reflection is currently showing you.
But this requires a pretty massive identity shift. It's not just saying words.
It's everything.
And this is section 5 of our deep dive, the identity shift killing the old self. The source gets a little dark here, honestly. It uses some intense language.
It does.
It says you cannot put a new key in old hands.
It's necessary darkness, though, because the source argues that the old self, the version of you that identifies as poor, as struggling, as unlucky, as a victim, that version of you must die.
Die is a very strong word.
It is, but it's appropriate for the level of transformation required. You cannot attract what you want. You attract what you are.
Say that again?
You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If your core identity is, I am a person who struggles with money, then the universe will obediently give you endless opportunities to struggle with money because that confirms your identity. The universe loves to prove you right.
So this whole process is a form of spiritual surgery.
That's what the source calls it. And the part of the psyche that needs to be surgically removed is the ego.
In this context, the ego is the part of you that lives in anxiety.
Yes. The ego is the part that defines your value by your bank balance. It's the part that's constantly scanning for threats. The listener is instructed to literally, verbally declare the death of this old self.
What's the phrase?
The one who knocks is dead. The one who turns the key is alive.
Wow, that's intense. The source also mentions physical sensations here too, like your body might actually fight you on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Will.
Expect resistance. A sudden tension in the shoulders, a knot in the stomach, a wave of feeling foolish or ridiculous, a sudden urge to stop and just go watch TV.
Why? What is that?
The source says this is the ego resisting its own death. The ego's primary job is to keep you safe. And to the ego, safe means familiar.
Even if familiar is being broke and miserable.
Yes, because it's a known misery. The ego prefers a familiar hell to an unknown heaven. So when you start declaring this new reality of abundance, your ego freaks out. It screams, "What are you doing? Stop! We're poor. This is dangerous. You're going to get your hopes up and be disappointed again."
So pushing through that physical discomfort, that feeling of being an imposter, is part of the process.
It's the most essential part.
Yeah.
You have to prove to your own body, to your own subconscious, that the new identity is in charge now. You have to walk through the fire of your own doubt.
And there's this paradox that the source mentions that feels really central to this. It says, security precedes abundance.
It references Psalm 4.8, I lie down and sleep in peace. The paradox is that you must feel the security before the money arrives.
That's the whole game right there.
It is. Most people say, I'll feel secure when I have $1 million in the bank. The law says, feel secure now for no reason at all, and then you will have the $1 million.
Inner security authorizes outer abundance.
That's the formula.
That is the hardest part of this entire thing. To feel secure when the bills are overdue and the eviction notice is on the door, it feels like you're gaslighting yourself.
It feels that way to the logical mind, to the ego, yes, but it is actually an act of deep faith and training. It is choosing to live by the law of the decree rather than the law of the bank statement. It's a discipline, and like any discipline, it requires practice.
Okay, so let's get practical. The source doesn't just leave us with all this high-level philosophy. It gives us a very clear, very specific protocol, a 7-day challenge.
This is the mechanics of the ritual, and it's designed to do one thing, to root this new frequency in your being.
You can't just say it once and hope for the best.
No, you have to drown out decades of old negative programming. It takes repetition.
So walk us through the day according to the protocol. Let's start with the morning.
The source is incredibly specific about this. The moment you wake up, before you look at your phone.
Oh.
This is vital, non-negotiable.
That's the hardest part for most of us. I reach for my phone like a zombie reaching for brains.
I know. We all do. But think about what happens when you look at the phone first. You see bad news, stressful emails, other people's curated, perfect lives on social media.
You let the world dictate your frequency before you even get out of bed.
Exactly. The protocol says no. You claim the day first, before the phone. You sit on the edge of your bed.
I like that detail, the edge of the bed. It's a liminal space. You're awake, but you haven't started the race of the day yet.
Precisely. And in that space, you say the phrase, I decree abundance now in perfect divine order, 3 times aloud.
Aloud is important.
Aloud is critical. With authority, you are setting the tone for the entire day. You are putting the key in the ignition. You are telling the universe, this is who I am today. This is the law we are operating under.
Okay. Then what about midday?
This is what the source calls the maintenance dose.
The booster shot.
The booster shot. Because stress will hit during the day. It's inevitable. Your boss will be annoying, you'll get stuck in traffic, a bill notification will pop up on your phone.
And the natural human reaction is to contract, to go back to the old self. You start complaining, worrying.
Yes. The protocol says, in that moment, pause. Catch yourself, go to the bathroom, step outside, whatever you need to do, and declare it once, just to reset your frequency. It's like hitting the recenter button on a GPS when you've scrolled too far away from your location.
Get back to true north. And finally, night.
Before you go to sleep. And the source says, ideally, do this while looking at yourself in a mirror.
Why the mirror?
Because it forces you to confront yourself. It bypasses the mental chatter. You look yourself in the eye and you say it 3 times. This is to seed your subconscious mind right before you rest.
The subconscious is most open, most suggestible, right before sleep.
Exactly. If you go to bed worrying about debt, you marinate your subconscious mind in worry for 8 hours. That's 8 solid hours of programming lack. But if you go to bed decreeing abundance, you marinate in that powerful frequency all night long.
And the tone matters. We touched on this before, but let's just reiterate. It's not about screaming it at the mirror.
No, absolutely not. It's about certainty. The source compares it to signing an important document. When you sign a check or a contract, you don't scream your name.
No, you just sign it.
You just signed it. You know your signature is valid. That is the tone. Quiet, absolute, unshakable authority.
Now, the big question. What happens when we do this? What should we expect to see? The source makes a bold claim that signs will appear in 24 to 72 hours.
It does. But, and this is a very, very big but, the signs might be subtle at first.
Right. We're all waiting for a suitcase of cash to fall through the ceiling.
And that's not usually how it works. The initial signs might be a sudden wave of mental clarity, a feeling of peace you haven't felt in years.
An unexpected invitation to lunch from a friend, a bill you thought was due getting resolved.
Finding $20 you forgot about in an old coat pocket. Small things.
And the trap is to dismiss those small things.
That is the #1 trap. Analyzing the how. If you see a small sign and you say, well, that's just $20, that's not real abundance, you have just killed the flow.
You're judging the harvest before the seed has even fully sprouted.
Exactly. The protocol demands that you acknowledge every single sign, no matter how small, as proof that the door is opening. Analyzing the channel, wondering how or where the big money is coming from, blocks the flow.
It's like planting a seed in a garden and then digging it up every hour to see if it's growing.
You have to trust the process. Gratitude for the small signs is the accelerator for the big signs.
Now, there is a very modern twist in the source material we're looking at. Section 7, the digital contract.
This is a fascinating adaptation for our times. The source, in its audio form, asks listeners to go to the comments section of the video or the audio player and type the phrase.
To type out, "I decree abundance now," in perfect divine order.
Yes.
Now, is this just for the algorithm? Smash that like button and comment below.
The source argues it's much more than that. It frames it as a public contract.
A contract with who?
With yourself and with the universe. The act of writing something down is a powerful form of manifestation. By typing it, you are bringing it out of the ephemeral world of your head and into the physical world, even if it's a digital one. It solidifies your intent.
And there's also the community effect that it mentions, seeing thousands of other people in the comments typing the exact same thing.
It strengthens the collective frequency. It fights that feeling of isolation, that feeling that you're the only crazy person talking to your mirror.
Right.
When you see others turning the key alongside you, it validates your own action. It reminds you that you aren't just making this up. You are tapping into a law that others are using too.
Yeah.
It creates what some might call a morphic field of abundance.
So, to recap, we've unpacked the diagnosis of the locked door. We've looked at the physics of the decree. We've examined the 3 teeth of the master key. We've heard the case studies. We've talked about the necessary death of the old self. And we have the 7-day protocol.
We have. It's a comprehensive system from top to bottom.
And it all seems to come down to this one core idea. The door to abundance is locked from the inside. And it's locked by our own silence and our own doubt.
And the key is not more threat. The key is not more effort. The key is the spoken word. I decree abundance now in perfect divine order.
Effort opens physical doors. Decrees open spiritual doors.
And since the origin of our physical reality is spiritual, the decree is always the superior, more efficient tool.
I want to leave our listeners with a final provocative thought from the source. It's a beautiful line. It says that once the door opens, you never, ever forget the sound of the lock turning.
That's a great line. It implies that once you experience this, once you really experience it, and you get a result that your logical mind simply cannot explain away, you can never go back.
You can never go back to being the old self.
You can never again fully believe that hard work and struggle are the only way. You've seen behind the curtain, you know the secret now.
So here is my question to you listening to this right now. You've tried the hard way. You've tried the hustle. You've tried the worry, the planning, the stressing. You're tired. I know you're tired. Are you willing to stop banging on the door for just 7 days? Just 7 days.
It's a very low-risk experiment when you think about it. The absolute worst that can happen is you feel a bit silly talking to yourself in the mirror for a week.
And the best that can happen.
The lock turns, and your entire life changes.
You are the law.
Okay.
That's what the source says. The lock is just sitting there waiting for your voice.
The door is ready. The handle has been on your side this entire time.
Start your cycle today. Start it right now, as soon as this is over. Say it with us, just to get the feel of it. I decree abundance now in perfect divine order. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you on the other side of the door.
In perfect divine order, of course.
See you next time.